Everybody, and welcome
Hello.
Hello.
to more Dungeons and Dragons Voracel. So then,
Yes.
Dungeon Master Devillo, would you like to tell us a story?
It would be my pleasure. But before we begin with our typical setting,
Uh-oh.
for those of you who follow the Dice&Dolts YouTube channel, the most recent episode of Waterdeep Dragon High featured a conversation involving one of the party, a woman by the name of Lady Madeline of Succors, and the discussion of one, let's see, a halfling by the name of Ashwood Grumbletoe. And Mr. Ashwood, he asked a question that nobody noticed. A very, very important question.
Uh-oh.
What is a Voracel? Welcome to Voracel, a dark fantasy setting for 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. Last episode, everybody had a little bit to drink at the local tavern. The music has not started up yet when I told it to, thank you very much. There we are. This is a 5th edition setting for Dungeons and Dragons. Last session we had the party were recovering from their little encounter with some trouble causers, some rabble rousers. People trying to set fire to the poor innocent undead. Having a few conversations, the party discussed where did these remaining bombs come from? Could it be they missed a few? Spoiler alert. Yes, you did. They then went to their, separate, rooms to get some rest. Before they did, Tahu, the Kenku, connected to the not assassins group, the August Sanctum, had a little conversation with one of his teachers, and I will actually bring her up because I am now prepared for things. And there we go. He had a conversation with one of his bosses, the Professor of Political History at the August Sanctum, Lady Cara Gosling. She told him that his superior, Jasper, was basically panicking over nothing to stop sneaking around behind her back and instead sneak around his back and report to her directly. As everyone went to sleep, Sir Icrius had a very interesting dream.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to... What did Sir Icrius take away from his nighttime experience?
Well, the long and short of it is that Icky, good old Sir Icarus, now believes that Asepsis has guided him to Castle Grim through the graces of Queen Tugas, of course, as one of her loyal roaches, to head into the depths of Castle Grim, whatever may lie within, and liberate this strange, overwhelmingly alive force that he sees as being smothered by an alien darkness. And he has been informed, at least how he feels, he's been informed by Asepsis, that Lady Chemise will assist him in this matter in order to save Voracel as a whole from the undead threat.
That's all I want.
That's all we wanted you to want either. So, Jurnis, you were also in the middle of a... Well, it started off as a fairly lucid dream, and it basically became reality. You apparently found yourself planeswalking before your mother, the demoness Malfina. And we were in the middle of a conversation where she disapproved of your drinking, showed a little bit of a concern for some of your potential future decisions, and wanted to offer you a little alternative. Now, full disclosure, the DM was a little rushed, and he forgot to catch up on exactly where the conversation left off last episode. There was a question that was asked, but I have genuinely forgotten what it was.
Unfortunately, so has the player.
Wah, wah.
It's been a week, guys. It's been one heck of a week. It's 2020. Cut some slack.
I believe the gist of it was that Mummy Dearest wants Jurnis to play Hype
Yes.
Woman, so
Yeah.
she can get like warlocks under her belt.
Yes, recruiter for the
And-
warlock.
Exactly.
And in exchange for that, certain restorative things.
Yes.
Indeed. So, we return to Avernus, the place you were born. Ruined, destroyed buildings around you. Ash raining from the sky. At least it would if Roll20 didn't keep glitching out. In the far distance, you see the black, twisting gash in the sky. The front line for some horrific battle against devil and demon. And your mother, Malfina, stands before you, smiling. As I was saying, I don't want to lie to you, my dear. You don't need to go with my option in order to get what you want. There's always another way. But my way is, I would say, the quickest and safest for you, which is my primary concern. It would also help me a great deal as well.
Yes. That seems to be the hitch, doesn't it?
You want to help your own mother, don't you? Gives you a little smirk.
Jurnis just has this conflicted emotion on her face. It's just like, bitch, you've just shown up. It's like...
I know, I'm teasing, I'm sorry, it's my nature. You should ask your father. Maybe not, actually. I need your help to get out of, she gestures to the destruction around her, this. I made sure that you would be kept away from here, and I will admit part of that was the hope that you might one day, of your own volition, be willing to assist me. I don't do anything for free, and I don't expect you to either. A deal with me is lasting, binding, and secure. Even if you weren't my daughter, I would never betray you.
And tell me, what would you do if you escaped here?
Well, first, I would definitely take a shower. I mean, look at me. As you look at her, she is somewhat the armor she's wearing is, black and, heavy, but it is also battered. It is rusty. Parts of it almost seem to not quite fit right for whatever station. In fact, yeah, give me I'd say an intelligence or investigation. Give me an investigation check.
Investigation. Let's see if it's still got a double rule for me.
Oh yeah, that was a thing. No.
Fixed.
You would expect her, the way she talks, her bearing, you'd expect her to have, slightly more expensive looking armor, given her general attitude, but it just seems to be what she's wearing.
And pray tell, if I do take you up on your offer, how would I communicate your targets, I suppose, to you?
Well, here's the thing. They wouldn't be my targets. This would be entirely your decision. People who you think would be suitable recruits.
People who'll be damned, essentially.
Well, you don't get something for nothing. I can't come over there if people of an equal amount, an equal value, don't come over here.
And who do you consider of equal value?
Well, not to toot my own horn or anything, my dear, but it would have to be people of importance, perhaps. People of... You see her thinking, and there is a slight fire in the back of her eyes as she's mulling over the answer to your question. I would say... I couldn't give you a number per se, but people who would probably end up here anywhere are fine. People who want to make a deal, people who want power. I'm not asking you to, deceive or, go to like a children's school or something ridiculous like that and, ask people to sign their name. That doesn't work. I want willing, consensual, informed people who want power, who want influence, and they will get it. And in return, I will have... How do I put this? You know how trade and commerce works where you are, yes?
Money can be exchanged for goods and services, yes.
Yes, basically. Here it's slightly different. Money is not so much coin, though it can be. It is essence, souls, power. All those different things come from people, from outside. We are always recruiting. We use the souls to help. She glances over to the dark gash in the sky. Hold the line, so to speak.
I see. But you still haven't answered my question.
Which one?
If I decide to turn someone your way, how do I contact you?
Oh, it's fairly simple. If you agree to the deal, I think, yes, I should be able to whisper in your ear a little more, view things through your eyes when you permit it, of course. I'm not going to take you over like some puppet. But I would be more aware of what you are aware of. So when you are ready to make a deal, I would, similar to as we are talking now, show you the proper motion, the right contract to sign. And let me be very clear, my dear. I'm not expecting an answer right now. I've not been a part of your life directly for a long time, and this is a very big decision. So, all I really want to do is lay my cards on the table, give you a simple, clear, easy to understand explanation of what I need, what I would expect, and what you would get in return. You do with that information what you will. Take your time. If you decline my offer, you're still my daughter, and your safety is my number one concern.
Jurnis is gonna insight that.
Please. She has a fairly... It took you a minute or two, but there is something about her attitude, the slight sardonic, slightly self-important air about her, and it's familiar. And you realise it's exactly how you used to be when your inner devil, the little voice at the back of your head, used to take over. So, seems genuine.
I think I'll need a bit of time to consider this. For one thing, I still need to come to grips with... And she motions her hand up and down Muffina. This. And this.
Okay.
And she motions towards the landscape.
Do you want to know where you were born? She raises an eyebrow, points over your shoulder, a little ways away.
Jurnis will follow her finger.
You see on the horizon a type of... One of the structures seems a little larger than the others, a little more together. It's like a dome in the center of this great depression. Now, back then, a few years back, that was a rather beautiful looking place. Most of this actually was. It was created to tempt, to ensnare. It was a paradise, a garden of delight, to slowly wear down the inhibitions of those we were trying to entice. Her face darkens and she looks up at the black gash in the sky. And then they came, and things got a little difficult.
So you made yourself a little playground to tempt and corrupt the mortals, and the demons decided they wanted to play too.
less they wanted to play, more they wanted to eat, devour, and destroy. They are chaotic vermin. Their only instinct is destruction. Ours is...
It was hyperbole, Mother. It was hyperbole.
All right. Sorry, it's a... I admit it's a bit of a sore point.
You see, Jurnis just has like a slight confused expression when she said the word mother. It's like, that's weird.
I hope you get used to it, my dear.
We'll see.
Jurnis, as this conversation is going on, you look at the air around you. It is dry. It looks dry. It looks arid. It looks like your skin should be almost baking, but you feel cold. It's almost a dampness in the air. You continue to have your conversation, feel like the back of your neck start to prickle. You're alright, you seem distracted.
I'm not entirely sure. Jess is gonna look around and like pull her coat closer around each other. Is this a perception or investigation?
Either one.
Which one am I smarter at? I'm smarter at investigation. It's just like,
look
holy
around.
shit, that is a big demon.
I would say yes. As you look around, there is, I'd say 50 feet from you, a small as this gigantic winged atrocity plummets into the ground. About 6 or 7 flying imp-like creatures dive on it. It's a feeding frenzy. They are ripping it to pieces. Malfina goes, oh, great, we might have to move at this rate. You notice that the black gash in the sky, it does tend to move around a little. The front line of this, whatever you would call it, this slaughter, this blood war, it is mobile. And it is coming your way. But as you're looking up, you notice the breath in front of you start to fog. You are feeling very cold. And the vision of Avernus starts to fade around you. Looks like we're losing a connection. Well, do take care, my dear, and consider my word. You be safe now. Do you have anything to say before you wait?
Perhaps another time, then.
Definitely another time. So, you find yourself awake in bed. It is pretty dark out, still fairly late in the evening. Give me a perception check, please.
Sure, I could do that.
10. I would say, as you're looking around, you do clearly see the breath in front of your face. It is cold, and then it's not. You feel warmth return. You look around and you think you see bits of condensation, dampness around you, but then you look again and everything seems normal. It takes you about 60 seconds before you realize that in this room is grass and no one else. And
oh shit, the blueberry's gone! For all that angry hissing.
I see.
Yes, hello.
As you bedded down for the night, where was it that you... Who is sleeping with who, by the way? I think that's something very important we should double check. We know that Icrius and Chemise are sharing a room. We had Jurnis, we had Graz, and we had Glorth together. Was Icrius and Tahu spending the night in the same room, or did you guys have... Did Tahu actually head back to the college? What was the plan with Tahu?
How far away is the college?
That is a very good question. Let's just very quickly bring up the map. So, where you guys are at the moment is this tavern here. The college is right here. Yeah.
The red one?
Oh, no. The
Right
green.
here, the green one.
Yeah, you're at the green one. I would say,
Okay.
yeah, I do need to move that red one, so. Because we split the party! But you know you'd never split the party. Right, yeah, this symbol here is the not Assassin's College, also
The
known as
college
the Old
isn't
Sanctum.
that far, so I would assume I'd probably just walk back and be back in the morning.
Yeah, it's like 0.2 miles. It's not that far. So, Ang, I assume then that... Would you have had a dog in the room with you?
Yeah. I'll say dog's
Okay.
in the room with me.
Okay. One last question. What is your arm class?
And look at me not opening my sheet. Yay. 14.
Okay, good to know. So, you're awake the next day. Couldn't resist, just wanted to creep you out a little bit there. Oh yeah, you all wake up, I'd say round about 5-ish in the morning to the sound of, I assume, Jurnis getting a little bit concerned. Would that be fair to say?
I'd reckon so, yeah. Probably shook and Graz awake by this point as well.
Yeah, you alright? What's up?
The
She
blueberry's
has...
missing.
Oh shit, what?
He's gone. The window's open.
Uh-oh.
She got out again.
Give me a... I know you already rolled a general perception check for a 10. Give me an investigation, if you would be so kind.
God damn it, Jurnis!
Okay. Jurnis, you are panicking. Graz gets up and looks around as you are starting to get a little bit concerned about your missing charge. I would say, if you could be so kind, give me a investigation check for Graz for her character sheet.
Graz, eh?
Yes, since she is helping you.
Sheet. There it is.
Yes, it does, doesn't it? That gives the DM time to find the correct sound files.
Investigation.
Oh, I didn't.
There we are. There we are, Graz. Good girl.
Okay. Good girl, Graz.
I did not open up my Sirenscape.
Oh, yeah, Sirenscape, again, as ever. That's where the music is. So, it takes her a moment, but she's like, whoa, hold on, no, red. And near basically where, literally where Glorth was sleeping, there is a small note. She opens it up, looks through it, blinks a couple of times, and hands it to you. And it reads, because I didn't make a handout, it reads the following. Hello, my surrogate parent companions. Several things have been scratched out. As you are reading this, I am elsewhere. But please do not worry about me. I'm okay. Too okay, in fact. I mean, you can obviously comprehend this letter, and that's not what you would expect from me. And therein lies my problem. So, I will have to leave for a while to deal with this unfortunate affliction of lucidity and work off some debts in the process. I will be safe, well fed, and busy. I hope to see you again someday, and I will remember you as kind and mostly trustworthy people whom I am proud to know in the meantime. Your friend, Glorf. P.S. Should you move my nightstand in the kitchen, the inside of it is now steady at 20 below 0 Celsius. Thank you. And that is it. Oh, Jurnis.
This is...
Oh.
Oh, buddy hugger. I was. You know what? Just give me an insight check from Graz.
Sure.
Graz hugs you.
She needs
She
a kitty
gets
in her
it.
lap.
Yeah, but she's got a goblin on her thigh, so there you go. Just as good.
Jurnis will return the hug. It's just like she appreciates it, but she's also like really concerned about Glorf. There's like, I genuinely can't believe he managed to string 2 sentences together.
I know. Tell me about it. I mean, it's more than 2 here. It's like this is actual. So what? He's cursed by lucidity. What does that even mean?
I think that means he can think clearly?
Huh. Okay.
I hope he's alright. You're just gonna like look out the window as if she could spot him.
I would say, as you look out of the window, you are on the 3rd floor.
Just gotta
you look
peer
around.
over the balcony and make sure he isn't lying there with broken legs or something.
As you look down, you see the shattered remains of no. No, would I do that to you?
Yes.
Maybe.
Your
But
shadow remains alright, just of a rat that he landed on when he jumped out the window.
You just see the streets. You know, it's about 4:30, 5 in the morning. You still have a little bit of a hangover, and that conversation with your mother, that kind of threw you a bit. But other than that, you don't see much around. Oh, except
What
for the
does the
occasional
distress
ghost.
Chemise noise sound like?
Yes. Not to put you on the spot, D.
You'll find out.
Anyway.
Well, this has been a very, very concerning night.
Yeah. Look, are you all right? I know you don't. How do I put this? Since we've met, yes, that drow chick, she kind of pieced out really early on. The other elf girl, the halfling, the big winged chick, although let's be honest, that's no real big loss. Ranmus, and now Glorf, and the blue tip. I know a lot of people leave you, but they're not. Oh god, I suck at this. you know, people aren't like leaving you or anything. It's just, you know, sometimes people, they got things to do. I am really sucking at this, aren't I? Look, okay. How can I put this?
That's it. I appreciate it, Grass.
Yeah. I'm not going anywhere. And I plan to.
You better
So.
bloody not. Just
Yeah,
give
tell
her a
me
big
about
smile. Well, as near as a smile as she can manage at the minute.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know much about gnomes or anything, but he was like one of those underground types. Do you know anything about them?
Does Jurnis?
Jurnis, you have travelled all over the Crux. You have been to some interesting parties, you've drunk some interesting hooch, and you've done interesting things with interesting people. You've picked up stories. I would say you can give me a history check. A straight roll, please. At 21. You have heard stories. This might have actually been something from your brief travelling companion, the drow, Sprig, who was with you when you very first met Graz. The Underdark, or as it's known here, the Dark Below, is population to several unusual races, or variations of surface races. One of them are the Darrow Gnomes. Some people think that Darrow are, as a species, insane. And your experience with Glorth, if indeed he was a Darrow, which you probably think he was, means he was pretty much the standard, level of coherent for his kind. However, you did hear that from Sprig that on occasion they are given to flights of extreme lucidity, which they hate. Their natural, everyday, comfortable mental state is that of being completely fucking balmy. Whenever they have to deal with actual reality, with actual lucidity, they tend to get a bit depressed, a little bit frustrated, and it is not a pleasant experience. But on the bright side, it doesn't last long.
Jurnis will relay most of that to Graz. I just hope he finds his way back to us before he goes a little crazy again.
Yeah, what I want to know is, how did he actually get out of here? Because, we're on the 3rd floor. I know he's a bit nimble and everything, but...
Graz, it's Glorth.
Yeah.
He made a reclining bed. And she just motions to the bed that they're lying on.
Yeah.
He made that. He's made rodent parachutes and catapults. He made an automated device that put parachutes on mice and then catapulted them across the room, automatically deployed the little tiny parachute, and it landed in a basket. I'm sure he could find a way to climb down the side of a building.
You know what, Red? When you are right, you are right. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Anyway.
She looks a tiny bit unconvinced, but she does seem a little bit happier.
Well, there's no sense running off down the streets. It seems he knows what he's doing. Jurnis will motion to the note.
Probably.
Why don't you go back to sleep? We'll still have a few hours until dawn.
Yeah, we do, don't we? She gives you a bit of a smirk and heads to bed. Meanwhile, Let's go back to Ang, shall we? You have been having a fairly restless sleep this night. Images, visions of past fights, the incident with the riders trying to defuse that bomb, time when you first met Wex Greenstride and he took you in as a member of the Wardens. Think back further to a couple of months back, the bandits that you managed to take down. Their leader, the dwarf, and my notes. Yeah, apologies. Oh my gosh, okay. So the mouse that I tried to get to replace the current one kind of bust. So I'm on a lot of old tech at the moment, and sometimes things work, and sometimes they absolutely crap out. So apologies about that. But yeah, you had an encounter with a rather unpleasant dwarf whose name I can't find because what was his name?
Let's see if I
It's
gave
in
him
your. It is actually in your character sheet. It is not showing up for some reason. Not a problem.
Ungar.
Ungar. Okay, there it is. There it is. Remember the satisfaction you had in bringing him to justice, and the frustration where a week later he was back on the streets, having been exonerated, swearing revenge on you. You think back to the fight, and as your mind replays it, the details shift and change. His vision seems to warp, skin going paler and paler, limbs more elongated, teeth sharp, vicious, thin, black eyes glare back at you as they take a slash at you. And you said your armor class was 14?
Yes.
Okay. I would like you to take... Let's see. Come on, roll 20, work with me. I'm trying to build tension here.
Oh, tension's there. This is only
Good,
adding
good,
to
good.
it.
Good. I want you to take 4 points of slashing damage as in your dream the claws slash into your chest. The other hand reaches forward for your throat. You feel the cold, clammy, wet flesh close around your fur. Rank breath against your face. The mouth opens and it distends beyond any humanoid ability, row upon row of teeth. As you wake, do you check yourself?
Yeah. First thing he does is he
As you look down at your tunic, or your whatever it is you're wearing, you notice no mark. Pull your hand up to your throat. No moisture. You are alone in your room. Probably just a bad night's sleep. Is there anything Ang would like to do?
Well, at the moment, he's not going to be able to get back to sleep, so, these rooms are just a bed, maybe some tables and whatnot?
Pretty much, yeah. You guys are basically on the second and third floors of a 4-story building. The first floor is the tavern itself. And then the next 2 floors are residential areas. The top floor would be offices and sleeping quarters for the staff / students.
Well, seeing as he just woke up from a very intense nightmare,
Mm-hmm.
or was it?
The answer is yes.
He is going to get up and walk to the window to get some fresh air.
Okay. It's a fairly typical Cosvelgrim day. It is grey. It is a little bit damp. And moisture clings to the air. This early in the morning, the cold is pervasive. Are you looking for anything in particular?
Not really. He's just passively scanning the streets below, just trying to get his heart to calm down. If you want me to, I can roll a perception check.
You're more than welcome to.
Yeah.
Okay. With a 4, the fog has come in fairly strong. It's been a while since you've seen it this thick, but the fog is there. Just everything damp and wet, which, if you think about it, considering the recent fires and so on, probably no bad thing. So, time passes. And eventually, I assume everybody is making their way back to the tavern or back downstairs to the tavern floor. Is that correct?
I'd imagine so, yeah.
Okay, then. Icrius, well, before we do that, Chemise, is there anything that you would wish to discuss with your friend, given that I believe we have established that sleep no longer really something required?
Well, first of all, Icrius woke up. Did he, if you remember, Chemise had turned invisible and was watching him at the side of the bed.
I forgot this. Yes, let's go back to that scene, shall we?
And she was waiting to see what he did when he called out to her, and there was no answer.
What do you think he's gonna do? He's not gonna be like, oh, it's nothing. I'm going to go back to sleep.
For what do you?
I'm trying to think. It's such a weird situation.
She's gone. You woke up alone.
Yeah, and that's concerning.
Especially after her appearance in your dream.
Yeah.
What should we do with him now? Watching from the corner.
In the back of your mind, you hear an amused chuckle from your friend, your dark passenger. Well, as I told you, I've primed him.
Mm-hmm.
He should be a little more invested in our safety, our protection.
Good, I want him invested.
Yeah.
We're going to need him.
Absolutely. Great distraction. and something to throw ahead of us. There's an expression I hear. Every miner needs a canary.
Yeah. I mean, is he gonna go look for us, do you think? Or do you think he'll stay here? Do I need to open the door? I can't just appear out of nowhere.
Indeed. Perhaps the bathroom?
Yes. Good
If
idea.
there isn't one connected here, is there yet?
No.
I suppose
I'm
we will
not even...
wait and see.
Yes, let's wait and see.
Give me a perception check, just for the hell of it. Or intelligence. Yeah. Chemise.
Yeah.
Chemise? Let's see.
Oh,
Your patience, everyone, is appreciated.
Not a problem.
Perception.
I would say that technically it should have been insight now, but it's all good.
Well, I'll give you insight. You can do what you want.
There you go. With a 21, yeah. You kind of, the eldritch entity that lives in your undead head, you kind of threw it for a loop. It's literally a case of, I didn't expect this, but sure, let's see where this goes, I guess.
Mads paints a picture in the mind of just sends a message. I'm going to send it to you, GM.
Okay. Mads does this, does she?
No, not Mads. Chemise.
No, it's all good. Lady Madeline of Sir, who is that?
It's the Prime Amateur Detective novel series.
Oh, yes. Yes. Oh, my... Hey, now here's the thing. Waterdeep Dragon Heist canonically takes place 6 years before this. So, be careful what you suggest.
Yeah. That's an interesting time for Mads.
Oh, that could work. Chemise,
Okay.
you notice you're starting to float upwards.
And
towards the ceiling.
She tips her chest back, her hands behind her, exulting as she's lifted, and then she cuts her invisibility, screams, and drops to the... And I assume she drops to the ground at that moment?
She does.
Lady Chemise, you're quite alright.
What? Now, to clarify what you saw, writhing, racked with apparent agony, Chemise appear in the middle of the air and drop to the ground.
You hear a boom, boom, boom from the next room over. Oh, keep it down, we're trying to sleep. It's too late for that now.
Yeah, we're ignoring them.
Icrius!
Yes,
Icrius.
yes. Are you alright?
I'm not sure. What happened? Where? I was lying in bed and then, what's happening?
Well, I was given a vision from Sepsis himself. You were a part of that vision. Do you remember anything at all?
No, I don't. What vision? Why was I floating in midair?
I would say we'll go with a 14.
Yeah, was it? Well,
yeah.
I was doing two different roles: one for her honesty and lying, and one for her putting the show of her writhing around.
Guess I should roll for that.
Sure.
Whoa!
Okay. Because there does...
Icrius is too good at smelling the bullshit.
Yeah. You saw what you saw. She was floating in midair and then crashed to the ground. However, she might have some idea as to what's going on. She just doesn't seem to be willing to share it yet.
I'll be all right, Icarus. I just need to go back. Don't tell the others.
The next day, she's like crawling across the ceiling. It's like her head rotates 180 degrees. Yeah. She's like, "Don't tell anyone. I'm fine."
Miss Chemise.
Yes.
We're in this together, you and I. There's no need to withhold information from me, of all people. You know more than you're letting on.
Chemise nods.
In your head, you hear your friend whisper, "Say there was a light. It comes for you sometimes at night. You don't know what it means."
There's a light that... The light comes for me sometimes. I don't know what it means. I'm... That's part of why I'm looking for what I'm looking for, to understand the stars. Maybe I can stop it. Maybe I can communicate with whatever it is.
Ah yes, what lies below Khosrog Rim. There's strange things down there.
She nods and says, I suppose you understand my urgency now.
I was shown a alien darkness. Endless and vast. Outreaching. But there's something else down there. Something so relentlessly alive that it pales in comparison to all else Voracel has to offer.
You think the light is one of those things?
It could be. It could well be.
But which one?
I suppose the only way you and I will find out for sure is when we venture down there together. And
she looks relieved. She looks relieved and says, sorry, go ahead.
And Upseps is clearly intends for us to take on this task together. There are greater things meant for you.
I can't imagine myself being seen by anyone as great.
Perhaps that is what this light has in store for you.
I just want answers.
You and me both, Miss Chemise.
Then we should be on our way as soon as possible. I feel it calling me.
And I as well. But, back to the question at hand. You mentioned that we shouldn't tell the others. Are you sure that's wise? Like I said, there's a strange alien nature to what's down there. I haven't felt anything like it. I have been, using my sensing, my divine sense, since I met, the group, the party, shall we say. Because something was amiss.
In Chemise's mind, she asks that, should we tell them?
No. I hear just this endless chuckling at the back of your mind.
Chemise shakes her head and says, I think that's best if we keep it to ourselves for now. We don't really know what to tell them, and we don't want to scare them, and maybe we'll understand it, and we can do more with it. Just
Very
telling
well.
them there's danger down there will make them on edge, but not give them any information. Because we don't know. Maybe just say be on guard. You know there are strange things down there. That's not telling them. I just don't want to tell them the wrong thing and make them. What if it's a critical decision? What if it's something that.
Chemise, Miss Chemise, you needed to panic. I will take your word for it. I just wanted to discuss the matter. I'm employed by you, not by them. And frankly, I only see them as extra protection for you. I will protect them, for they are people and worthy of a paladin's protection. But I must admit, on a personal level, I don't care for some of their attitudes, particularly the tieflings. But
She inhales. Sorry, go ahead.
But she is still worthy of my protection, and I will protect her with all of my might. But you are my greatest focus, especially now that Sepsis himself has pointed me in your direction.
Thank you. I'm humbled and honored, but enough of this. Let's just get. The sooner we can be there and find answers, the better the better I like it, and the calmer I'll be.
Very well. Whatever brings you peace of mind.
You bring me peace of mind, Sir Icrius.
And I'm very glad to do that, Miss Chemise.
And she moves to go with him.
So, as everyone's starting to wake up, one final dream. Dog. You feel your head being petted. Feels nice, but different. Not how you remember. You slowly, blearily open your eyes and you look around. Around you is dampness, a wetness, feel almost a sound of running water nearby. You look down at your legs, human. You see the white fabric. You glance up confused, and as it comes into focus, you see a figure absently staring into space as it continues to pet your head. The figure's face is obscured. Large, mask-like helm. You're not too sure where the face ends and the mask begins. A large crescent moon adorned with skulls. Candles dripping wax cover it. The wax dripping down around you. As you stir, the entity glances down at you, then seems surprised that it is you who is being petted. Then a voice deep in the back of your mind murmurs, "Nowhere." And you awake. What do you do? I would say this is around the same time that poor Ang has his little moment.
I'd say I jumpstart awake. My ears are pressed back against my head, and I just kind of look around the room. And I don't see anything, so I just sort of hesitantly put my head back on my paws and try to rest, but I just keep like glancing around the room before I decide what to do.
Just one final question, just for our benefit. Was this entity familiar to Doc? Or
Yeah.
was this the first time you've seen it?
Well, I'd say it's familiar, but probably the first time I've seen it.
Okay. Well then, the day comes and you eventually find yourselves back in the Tardy Tail Tavern. I'm going to shoot the bard. There we go. I said stop, thank you.
What did I do?
Not you.
Just another halfling!
It was another halfling. The morning is fairly dour, similar to the atmosphere last night. Most of you find yourselves around about the same time near the table in the corner.
There's Gloth.
Oh. You see, I was trying to set up the map while we were doing all that, and I was like, yeah, I think I've got everything now. What am I missing? Oh, yeah, and there's Skullface. Whack. There we go. Oh, and let's probably be a good idea to get Specky over here. There we are. So, eventually, I assume, Tahu, you would head back to them. Was there anything you wanted to do while you were in the college before we continue?
Nope.
Okay, not a problem. So, everyone is back here. Jurnis and Ang, I would say that you guys have been here enough times over the past week or so to know that this is the most muted and lifeless that this tavern has been in a while. You see the various students of the Bard's College, working around, cleaning things up, serving, whoever they can. But there is not much going on. You head to the bar, I assume?
Yep.
Gail and Keith are just in the middle of a conversation. Keith seems to be fairly exhausted and waving his finger at the younger girl, saying, I've told you 1,000 times, stop harassing the customers. Like, yes, how can I help you, love?
Right, Keith.
Yeah, just moves on.
Is everything all right?
No, sorry. Oh, you didn't hear? No, I was gonna try and they announced it earlier, but last night, just before you all came in, I've been a little bit all over the place. The boss, Clea, the professor, is she's dead.
What happened?
The attack. Didn't you hear the? Right. Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
I know that there was some kerfuffle in the Grey Quarter and a few fires, but I haven't heard anything else.
Well, that was part of it. I was me and the girl. He points over to Gail. We were with the professor. We were at the Memorial Gardens. It was the anniversary, the 400th year anniversary of, what happened. And a lot of us were there to pay respects. And there was a device or something pretty much where the professor was. From what I've heard, her and two of the other members of the plenum. They were killed outright. Few others, it's touch and go. The whole city is on lockdown. I mean, hence all the guards and everything. That's why we haven't had any new guests. Only residents are allowed in.
Good.
Yeah, everyone's still trying to, process it. So, I mean, you kind of got lucky getting in, if I'm honest with you. I don't really know what we're doing in terms of the bit. I mean, she was the head of the college. I got my husband upstairs. He's been going over the paperwork. He was her assistant. I just do the bar, so he's going through the legal stuff.
Well,
just
of course, my condolences.
Thank you. He looks really shaken up. You can tell he has not slept.
Perhaps you should take some time to rest yourself there, Keith. There's no point in running yourself ragged.
As I say, I was there in the middle of it. I mean, 1 second everything was fine, and the next it was just everything just exploded in our faces. I mean, most of they had families there from descendants from people who helped back then. It was supposed to be a celebration of the people who made a difference to the city, and so many are gone. Nobody knows who did it. Nobody knows why. And it's I don't know. It's he actually does pull up a stool, and he just sort of just sits down behind the bar for a second. Just holds his head in the sand for a second, trying to catch himself. It's just there was that, and then there was all the stuff going on with the Devillo and the undead, and now there's nothing. It's just stopped. I've not slept, and I've heard nothing. I don't know. I just don't know.
Jurnis is just gonna look over to Ang. It's like, holy shit, we were supposed to be there.
Yeah, you could have been there. Could have been very bad for you.
We were supposed to get back in time for that, but we decided to stay the night.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe something bad would have happened. Maybe you could have saved some lives.
Who knows?
The path not taken.
No, in Jurnis' luck, she probably would have been blown up.
And then you would have had a more of a face-to-face conversation with your mother.
Oh god, Jurnis is destined for hell! No!
Or Glorth could have been standing there going, I'm suddenly starting to feel like everything's making sense. Boom!
Well, let me know if there's anything I can do, Keith, but please look after yourself.
You too. Oh, shit, right, yeah. He gestures you to lean a bit closer.
And Jurnis will do so.
And if memory serves, the boss was doing a favour for you, trying to keep the mages off your back.
Oh, yes.
I'll have a word with my husband about it. We'll try and figure something out, but a lot of the personal favours that she was using, I mean, I don't know what we can do.
Well, I have my license, so hopefully that'll clear things up a bit.
Yeah, about that license. He looks a little sort of expression. Yeah, we'll try and find a proper one for you. Just in the meantime, maybe just be careful. Yeah. No, nothing flashy. Just keep your head down, and I think everyone's on edge as it is. So probably an idea to keep your head down. Just stay in away from the mages if possible.
That is a very good idea. We'll let you get back to it. And then she's just gonna lean away from the bar.
Right. Okay. Now,
Margot,
last night.
That's...
Hmm?
Just trying to think of the name for so long.
Yes, the goblin aunt or godmother of your associate, Mr. Wex Greenstride. Yes, Margot Penrose. She was a member of the plenum. So, you assume she was there. And from what Keith said, 3 members of the plenum died. Several of them are in very critical condition. You didn't ask where.
We should. Aang leans into Jurnis and says, "I should probably head to the Black Keep and find out if Margot is all right."
Thank you.
That is a fantastic idea. I'll keep an eye on these two with Graz.
Yes, you do that. Make sure they don't get into any trouble. It's the last thing we need right now.
If anything, we'll probably meet you outside the gate of the Black Keep.
Sounds like a plan. Say in about 2 hours.
Sounds about right. Stay safe. Watch your back out there.
I always do.
And Jurnis will just give him a nod and start moving back towards the table.
Okay. So,
Before that, he pounds on the counter. "Give me some wake-up juice!"
would you actually do that to the shell-shocked PTSD barman?
No.
Okay. Not a problem. I just wanted to check. He's gonna get you. He's gonna try and call up some coffee. One of the other girls, halfling girl, is gonna come over and hand it over to you.
Aang thanks her and then just downs it.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that hot?
It
Scalding!
is pretty hot. Yeah, you didn't ask for milk. Which they would assume, really, since you're a tabaxi, but no one.
Oh, just because I'm a cat, you assume I like milk.
Yes.
I mean, I do, but that's not the point. So, Aang downs his coffee, exhaling the flames.
Yeah. So, and do you head out?
Yep, Aang heads out to the Black Keep.
Okay. Yeah. I would say Gale gives you a little bit of a wink as you head past. And that is it. So, while Aang is out, what are the rest of you guys doing?
Well, first things first, I would like to make an insight or perception to see, to see if anyone had a nice, pleasant sleep.
Oh, give me a
Jurnis
perception
looks
check.
like shit.
Yeah.
She's cleaned herself up as much as she can, but she's got bags under her eyes.
I would
Quite
say
fine.
unless anyone complains, I'm going to, have everybody else around the table. Dog just chilling over here. I would say, Tahu, did I assume you had a great night's sleep?
Sure, enough.
Mm-hmm. Aside from Tahu and Chemise, for the most part, everyone else looks a little bit rough. Even Dog seems a little bit You know, like there's a little bit of anxiety there.
Aww. It seems I wasn't the only one who had a troubled night's sleep.
Oh, yes, well, things have happened.
Don't suppose you had any visions of the sort? Visitations in the night?
Chemise looks away, sort of like timidly, almost.
That sounds oddly specific. Jurnis is gonna incite him, so like, does he know?
No deception here.
So I assume I'd gather from that he doesn't specifically know that she had visions, but he's fishing.
Yeah, he's fishing for something. You're not sure what.
He's generally asking those very specific questions.
Something on your mind?
Yes, I had much of the same last night.
Chemise nods.
Chemise was party to these visions herself. In some manner. It's rather strange.
Wait, when you say visions, what do you mean? Because, I mean, aside from, Blueberry disappearing, I don't know about you lot. I mean, I slept fine until I was woken up.
Oh yes, I was wondering where the gnome was. Apparently he named dog, what was it? Tiberius Fastpaw, something like that? Rather fetching strong name.
I've been troubled by visions since the start of all this.
And those visions brought you to me, and to us, and to Khazra Grim.
Nod and definitive nod.
Mm-hmm.
We should get going as soon as possible.
On that note, I see Master Aang has vacated the premises.
Yes.
That seems to upset Chemise a bit.
It seems that the fires and the kerfuffle in the Grey Quarter was not the worst of it. She's then going to look over to Tahoe and says, it seems a few members of the plenum were killed or injured in a bombing.
Would Icrius know what the plenum is?
The plenum?
Yes.
Give me a history check, because you have been in this country for a little while. 12? Yeah. Most dwarven cities within the Forge Lands, the country that you're in, they kind of have the same kind of structure. There's a town council made up of the major influential figures, usually business leaders, the wealthy, people like families who helped build the city in some occasions. And they are usually collectively referred to as a plenum. They are led by a mayor who is sometimes elected either by the plenum itself or by, popular vote. But everyone, all the different cities, they are all underneath regional governors who are underneath the king of the Forgelands, who is currently dwelling within the capital, also known as the Forge itself. That is far towards the centre of the continent. Not the continent, I apologise, the country.
Okay.
Yeah. You are currently on the furthest northeastern border.
So, members of the plenum within Khazra Grim have been killed, and that's a big problem.
That is an exceptionally large problem. In fact, the owner of this very establishment and someone I considered, well, not really a friend, but a friendly acquaintance.
I mean, she was someone we knew.
That's kind of what I said.
She's a person we met. Yeah, person we met.
she did us a few favours. We did her a few favours. Nice, pleasant person. Unfortunately, she was killed, which is why, sadly, everyone seems a bit dour. We have a few other contacts within the plenum, and Dang is going to ensure that they're safe. But things went very, very badly wrong here. There was supposed to be a celebration, and someone attacked it.
And no one has any idea who would do this?
We have theories. Mostly, the ones we fought yesterday are the prime suspects. There was another gang, but we thought we had dealt with them. Seems a few of them came out of the woodwork, and remind me, when we ran through the streets, we saw the other gangs as well, didn't we?
Yeah. You saw you saw the remains of a few fights that had already ended, and you did recognize a few scattered remains of members of the Renro Riders, who were the group that have been causing you problems in the past 7 days. There were also at least 2 other unnamed gangs because the DM misplaced his notes in regards to them. So just various street gangs that you yourself are not familiar with. And then towards the Undead Quarter, the Grey Quarter, you recognized members of the Asepsis Church. Or when I say members of the church, they were basically a bunch of people wearing handmade robes.
Mm-hmm.
They were the mark of Asepsis hand painted onto them.
Quite frankly, it has been my experience in the past, well, since I've come to the city not that long ago, that
literally 7 days.
Yes. Thank you, voice in the sky. A member of your clergy has been whipping those people up into a fanatical, xenophobic fervor. I have been attacked and robbed several times. Some of Graz's have also been attacked. Their businesses burned. In fact, we found one of those large devices ready to blow up one of the largest goblin settlements in the Grimscar. And then that happened yesterday. Again, leaning towards a sepsis.
Well, it would go quite a fair way of explaining your ire with me, and Khosrow Grimm's ire with me in general. It all really depends on who is orchestrating these forces, because it's not just the Absepsis. If it is the Absepsis that are, orchestrating this chaos, then I have personal vested interest in putting a stop to it. They're going to give us a bad name.
Yes.
The priest that we apprehended, who accidentally fell down the stairs, he was released and told to leave the city, wasn't he? Or did he go back to his temple?
Yes, Father Stuttgar, the rather unpleasant dwarven fellow, he was pretty much told, get out of the city, after he had fallen down the stairs several times. Very clumsy fellow. He, from what little you understand, was sent back in a coach to his home town somewhere to the north. That's as much as you remember. The last time you saw him was during the quote-unquote trial, where he was supposed to be a star witness against you, but he spent most of his time looking around in horror, roaring about the undead. Namely, the fact that the person overseeing this trial, the mayor of this city, was a ghost.
Jurnis will relay basically what they know about that high priest and how he tried to frame them and then was basically exiled from the city.
I would say this for clarification. It wasn't the priest who was trying to frame you. You were being... you were basically being scapegoated by a halfling fellow by the name of Sir Elias Diritkus, a rather pretentious individual, wore a lot of gold. He was a little coward who ran away during the explosions, during the memorial.
He should have pit.
If only. But yeah, he had called Father Stuttgart. The whole point of that particular trial was to say, look at these outsiders, how they have attacked citizens of our fair city. Since they showed up, all of this chaos has gone on. And Stuttgart was supposed to be, look at this poor priest that they've manhandled. But Stuttgart wasn't playing by his rules. He was just honestly reacting, you're all fucking insane. This place is run by the undead. I'm out. Fuck you all.
Just will basically relay the gist of that. So he is precisely why your ilk has such a bad reputation.
Well, one of these days, once we're done here, I shall have to pay him a visit and give him a more permanent excommunication. He drags the rest of the clergy down. We already have a pretty rough reputation.
Oh gee, I can't help wonder why.
Believe it or not, we're public servants. We're just doing what is right.
Jurnis just has a blank face and just has that one arcing eyebrow. Kind of like, sure.
She said, and Chemise speaks up at that moment and says, I'm just glad you're both coming with me.
It's my pleasure, Miss Chemise.
I have a feeling that all of us are going down there for a special reason. Not just you, not just me, all of us.
Question for Jurnis, and I'd assume Tahu as well, since Ang is not here. Did you actually agree to a delve into the underground ruins of the city?
Curse the DM.
We agreed to bring her to the town because that's where we're going.
Indeed.
Oh dear.
You would not expect Chemise to, she said what she said, and that was intentional. I will say that much. If you need me to roll something for it, she said it because, reasons. Presumptuous of her.
How do you guys react to this statement?
I don't recall agreeing to go down there, Miss Chemise. We brought you to the city. That was where our agreement ended. Although I won't say I don't appreciate your assistance in that battle yesterday.
Chemise shakes her head and says, No, you all have to come with me. I won't be safe with just... Even someone as brave and strong as Icrius can't take me down there alone. The things I've seen, you all have to be there. It's imperative. How much do I have to pay you?
How much you got?
I'm pretty sure Graz just basically did that, just leant on the table.
Yeah, literally, actually. Yeah, how much you got?
Well, I won't know until I find what I'm looking for, but it could be, I told you, priceless.
75%.
If it helps make things easier for you, I am apparently under watch in the city, and aren't you all servants of the city? Wardens, wasn't it?
Yes.
Well then, wouldn't it be in your best interest to come along and make sure I don't go, like, setting undead houses on fire and such things?
Are you saying you intend to?
Not at all. But if it helps, like, if it helps you, if it helps get you along to help Miss Chemise and I in our quest, then that would be the story.
Chemise is looking at each person in turn, and she has this pleading expression on her face.
Chemise, at the back of your mind, you hear your friend whisper, in all fairness, it does seem that they are distracted with this incident, whatever it is. Patience is a virtue. Perhaps if we invested some time in aiding them, we could baste them with appreciation. Is that the expression?
Chemise
And
lowers
get
her head.
them to us.
Chemise lowers her head and says, "But if you won't come, then I'll come with you and help you on your mission to figure out what's going on in this town, this city."
Jurnis will just kind of nod to Chemise. She was like halfway pointing at Icrius, and then just you popped down being polite. She's like, very nice. And then returns her glare to Icrius. If you even make a joke like that. And just leaves the sentence like that. Anyway, we should go and catch up with Aang, and no doubt he's found out what else is going on. Come on, finish up your breakfast, and let's go.
I'm not especially hungry right now. I've had a rough night.
Icarus sure as hell is hungry.
You have quite a nice breakfast. Much like some people in a completely different world.
Oh, Dennis.
Yes.
I have something specific in mind.
Oh, do tell. I was going to make a reference to the whole Irish breakfast thing, but go
on.
Nyet. Oh, no. It's something straightforward enough. Icarus would like to actually have a steak for breakfast. Rare, but he's also going to get one for dog.
Oh.
Yeah, dog looks like troubled and sad, and the boy needs meat on them bones.
Yes,
So he's going to buy 2 steaks. Both rare, one for him and one for dog.
Gotta say, that's not what I was imagining for Icarus.
He's a bird of prey, you gotta remember.
Well, yeah, but still.
Yes, come on, Birdie, pick at your seed and let's go.
That was a bit of a double entendre there, wasn't it? A bird of prey.
Yes.
That was so good.
Thank you for picking it up.
Oh, jeez. Okay, I'd say for 2 chunks of meat, you're looking at 6 silver altogether, so deduct that from your expenses.
Okay, 1 gold, deduct a gold, and that gives me 4 silver left over. Where is that?
Oh, so Jurnis, you guys got some drinks and everything earlier. I'd say each of you who's had a drink, take away, it doesn't really matter that much, but, take away 4 copper pieces for every drink that you have purchased.
It's 2 drinks. And, how much?
Math.
We'll say that Jurnis got herself and Graz the full Irish as well.
Okay, yeah. So for a nice meal. Oh well, I don't think it's going to be 10 gold. Let's call it a gold piece. A gold piece for a real meal for both of you. Like 50 silver each.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Aww.
Fired up the dog.
All according to Sepsis' will, I assure you.
You see, this is the
See,
sepsis I can accept. Feeding and petting, being nice to puppies. Instead of the burning and the smiting.
The smiting is sometimes necessary when it comes to the feral undead. And the fire is something I try to avoid, since I know it is distasteful to most people.
I don't mean to interrupt and everything. Graz holds up a hand. I'm not. I know it's not really a popular opinion in this city, and no offense, Red. I don't feel comfortable about the undead. When me and her met, she kind of saved me from a bunch of them. She gives you a little bit of a look.
Was that before or after I got trapped behind the wagon with one trying to eat me?
You know, I think it was before.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do agree the feral undead are a problem, but the ones that seem to have their souls and wits intact, they're still people.
I agree wholeheartedly. I have nothing against them. I just feel bad for them. Clinging on to decrepit flesh out of desperation is not a way to quote-unquote live. I seek a way to...
blown Jurnis' mind. She did not believe that of you, and then you've just said it. She's like, what?
I agree with you completely, Lord. Sorry, Chris. I agree. Chemise looks distracted, fidgety.
Listen, I really do understand. Fire is not an agreeable solution to the problem. But the thing is, fire is the ultimate disinfectant, and a lot of people just go for the easiest solution. My brothers and sisters of sepsis are motivated from a desire to prevent our world of Voracel from being overrun from the undead, and whether they are people or not, it is a problem because the undead do not die, and there's a lot more dead people than living ones. And the further and further on this goes, well, the Grey Quarter isn't big enough for all of the undead in Voracel now, isn't it? It will expand to the entire city of Khazor Grim, then the entire Crux Combine, and all the lands of Voracel will be covered in undead. And the end result of that is, if we don't do anything about it, is that Sepsis himself will have to step in and apply the most brutal manner of purification. And I don't want that to come to pass, for I love this world, I love my homeland of Yabal Hari, and I know you all have things here that you love too. That is why I seek to remedy the undead condition. Not through fire. Through whatever means I can find. That is my charge.
I was not expecting pontification, but alright. Anyway, we should catch up with Ang. Let's go.
Just as you guys are heading out, Jurnis, there is something about Icrius's words that does catch in the back of your mind. About the Grey Quarter not being big enough to hold them all. The few times you have been into that area, and you are currently the only person at this table who has been inside, since Graz would no way in hell step foot in there. Sardines have more room.
Yep.
Those buildings are packed. So Icrius may have a point? Question mark. That's something for you to muse on as you head outside.
After Chemise shakes her head and breaks out of her reverie and gets up and goes with them. She's the last to leave the table, though, I think.
Is there anything that is going on with Chemise at the moment that we should know about?
Just that.
Tippy tap. Okay. Okay. So, you all head out into the city proper, leaving the Tarditilo. You nod to the two armed guards. These are two different ones from last night, but they make a note of your faces to allow you back in should you need to. And you start making your way down the main road into... Oh, I'm sorry, you were going to the Black Keep, was that correct?
Yep.
Yes.
There we go, so we are heading north. In the meantime, Ang, because I don't actually have a scene set up for the Black Keep, so we'll keep it on the map screen for a bit. Ang, you head into, or at least you try to head into the castle proper. This is the most high alert you have ever seen. The main gates right here are currently, they are sealed. There are regular city guards, and there are also members of the elite Black Hand Guard on standby. Nobody is getting in and out. As a member of the Wardens, technically speaking, you're basically a conscripted citizen, a part of a militia. The actual military is now in control here, and they are not letting anybody into the keep itself. However, after asking a few questions of some of the guards, I assume flashing your Warden's badge, you do learn that the head of the Wardens, the Devillo, by the name of Reap, he, along with several individuals, are currently in the Verdenstadt region. They are currently being looked after at one of the temples over there. It is heavily guarded, but they suggest if you want to speak to anyone, you check them out there. Most of the plenum leaders are in other areas like the Black Keep, but you are warned that one or two have been kept there, so getting in without a good reason is going to be somewhat difficult. I would say after about 20 minutes of this back and forth, that is when Jurnis and the rest of your associates meet up with you. Do you pass all this information on?
Yep, and he clearly sounds frustrated when he talks.
So, what do you want to do?
Well, can't get into the Black Keep, but it sounds like the ones that were injured were taken over to Verdenstadt. So, we should head over there, see if we can find Margot.
They didn't tell you anyone about who was missing or who was hurt?
Not directly. It seems they're playing this very close to the chest.
If you want, you could try a persuasion check. Would be a high DC though, even with no badge.
Is that for the guards?
This would be for the guards, yeah.
Yeah.
You get the impression that the Black Hand, like the elite guards are not going to be in the mood to give any information. The regular guards might be a bit more pliable.
Right.
Surely you can give us a little bit more information.
Come on.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
She
Yeah, far better
28.
than mine.
That is.
At 20.
Note to self: make sure all my monsters have the ability to cast silence.
Oh
Noted.
shit! No!
Okay. Bards. I know what they can do. Okay, so
They
let me
seduce
just.
the dragon.
They do.
Or actually, the dragon seduces them, so.
Yeah, there you go. I was gonna say something, but Holly
That's
has opinions on that.
You'll have to bear with me a moment because the map where all of this is supposed to take place is not loading because I have. There we are. So it takes you a little bit of cajoling, but you can tell that they seem fairly taken with you. The current list of the injured include the leader of the Siren Charter Mage College, Vilgo Forader, you've got several other wardens there. You have Mayor Varnon himself, even though he is undead. He is currently at this particular location, keeping an eye on things, making sure the different factions don't start tearing into each other. You also have several members of the August Sanctum Not Assassins Guild there. You also have, of course, Margot Penrose and her goblins. But the list of the dead, because I'm trying to get Roll20 to work. Not Roll20. Come on. The dead individuals are there is the head of the there's like the head of two different groups that you're not familiar with. One seems to be sort of like an artificers guild. The other is more sort of a merchants guild. Two individuals by the name of Berend Peric and Theon Beun, who you have no interaction with, at least as far as you're aware, but apparently they were at your funeral. Your funeral?
Oh my god!
I think you let the hand spill too soon there, Dennis!
I don't know about you, but I feel fine.
They were at your trial. They were currently at your trial, so...
To be fair, it could have been our funeral, considering that if it hadn't gone well, I think we would have been melted in the acid pit.
You were being tried while standing in the middle of an acid pit, that is true. But whether or not that's an intimidation tactic or something that would have actually been used for you in your case, best not to dwell on that. But yes. They've also confirmed Professor Cleus of the Bards College was also one of those killed. Some of the people in a very bad condition include Queen Jetfang, who is apparently the head of the local kobolds, and they're in charge of sanitation in the city. And one of the Veral elders by the name of Elder Gloomtaker, she is currently in a very rough condition.
Reap was hurt but alive, yeah?
Reap, they confer with themselves for a minute or two and then say Reap was in a similar condition, very badly injured. He was fairly close to Elder Gloomtaker when it happened. At the moment, though, I would say again, 28 with a freaking 28, yeah. As well as members of the Black Hand, which are on every single door. There's also several members of the Wardens who were at the attack who are watching over Reap right now, including a Loxodon by the name of Ludo, a Kenku type individual by the name of Corvo, and a elven individual who was busy speaking by the name of Arrocakkra. They are currently providing security for Reap and the other surviving Veril.
Well,
So, from what little you understand, they are well taken care of. In fact, roll me, I would say, history with disadvantage, because I don't think... In fact, no, I don't think that Miss Courtesy would have... No, you actually did have a conversation about her weird little escapade with a dryad. So yeah, give me a history with disadvantage to see if any of those names sound familiar. 11. You might have heard of them, but again, you've been in the city for a while, for only a week. Ang, I would say actually same again. History with disadvantage, please. Your DC would be lower though. Yeah. You've heard of Arrocakkra. She's been around a while. You do know that Skullface has mentioned her once or twice. You know Corvo has, apparently he's got a bit of a reputation in terms of interrogation. He's a little intimidating despite his size. And Ludo, you're not sure much about them, but being maybe the only Loxodon in the city, they do tend to stick out. So you're aware of these people. Whether or not they are going to be enough, should anything else happens, you're not sure.
And you have no idea who could have done it?
Yeah, that's a 28.
These guys are falling over each other to try and impress this pretty bard.
You know what? I would say, yeah. You do notice it is one male, one female. Both of them are dwarves, but you get the impression they're trying to impress you. Whether it's the coat, the hair, the voice, the scarlet skin, the horns, yeah, they definitely are. It's a definite case of, oh yeah, no, but what you really want to know is, no, shut up. No, the real thing is, but between them, they unfortunately have no real idea as to who is behind this. They list off a few different gangs that were involved in what they personally think was a series of fake out attacks, whereas the real attack was the memorial service, because that was the highest loss of life. The woman, the dwarven woman, let's call her Shielder. She says, personally, love, I think that all of this was somebody clever got in touch with a bunch of different gangs or different sides of the city and told them, at this point, you go and attack someone who you really hate. Asepsis go for the undead. Some of the other rabble-rousers go for the Veril. Riders go for the guards. That's how I would do it. And while the real threat was at, the heart of the city. A friend looks at, I don't know, seems a bit far-fetched. But
sounds to me that someone stoked up each gang's own little prejudices to cover their tracks.
See, this is what I'm saying. She agrees with me. Shielder looks very proud of herself. So, is there anything else you wish to do before you make tracks?
Well, anyway, thank you for your assistance. You've been very helpful.
Anytime. And if you ever need a chat with him, she just that, but yeah, we get off around about once things settle down.
Well, we'll see how things go. Good luck on your watch. And she's going to walk away.
Yes. Okay.
As she does,
yeah.
she's going to have a quick glance at Graz to see how she reacted to this display.
I was about to say, Graz has an expression of, like when someone's biting their tongue really hard and they have a Graz is not saying anything at the moment, but you can see her be like, right, okay, sure, fine.
Jurnis is going to do that little thing where she gives her just a gentle, a little nudge.
She loosens up a little bit, but she does give you a look and a raised eyebrow. I'm like, they seem keen.
Just working with the tools I have, my dear. Flick the hair.
When you got it, flaunt it.
Well, them two definitely look like a pair of tools. She is jealous as fuck. So, and in answer to your question, Icy, you are more than welcome to, should you so desire. We will come to that just now. So, yeah.
I was thinking we head over to there and talk with Margot. One, check on her condition, and two, see if, we can help find these guys in any way.
It does seem to be the best option. We really should touch base.
Okay then.
If anything, Margot seems to has eyes and ears in a lot of places. I would have gone to the professor about this, but sadly that is no longer an option.
Aang puts a hand on her shoulder. I'm sorry.
Well, to be fair, we weren't exactly that close, but yes. Anyway.
Okay.
As we're walking, Jurnis is going to mention to Aang that Chemise and Icrius still want to hire us to take them down below.
You know what? We'll deal with that once we manage to get a lead on this situation, and once we run out of leads, then we'll do the side quests.
Aang is a main story kind of guy.
Yep.
I'm the rarest kind of RPG player. Okay. So, I would say this first of all, apologies for any loading issues with this one, because this one might take a minute.
And I apologize for having received a visitor at my door.
Oh.
Which is always scary during a pandemic, so,
Ooh. Everything okay?
I did not open the door. Yeah, everything's fine. I sent them away.
Okay.
I apologize if anybody was talking to Chemise, I missed it.
Oh, no. We were just basically, they were just going over some stuff in regards to who's alive, who's dead, what the general theories are for the area.
Okay. Thank you.
Not a problem. So, as you guys are heading towards, this temple in the Verdenstadt Quarter, you notice that there's a bunch of people outside. A lot of fairly concerned-looking individuals. There are several city guard trying to keep them back, also helped by several acolytes from different religions, most of which you would actually recognize as some of the different faiths that you have interacted with in the past week or so. You notice in blue over here, members of the Church of Kalivik, the organization where Namaka, the Tabaxi priest, is tied to. Also, the religion that your friend Ranmus was interested in. You also see these women in black veils, similar to Sister Nardoon, who was one of the people who had you look for her friend Dorrit. And you, of course, also recognize the various acolytes of Agressere, also known as the Javan, the anti-wife beater religion, basically. They are helping the guard, keep people back. As you flash your purple badges, and I have actually marked in the corner those who do have such a badge, you are let through to around about here, where two of the Black Hand guards, the elite guards in solid black armor with purple trim, they both regard you coolly as you begin to approach. What do you want to do?
Aang approaches them and says, "We heard that Margot is here. I need to speak with her immediately."
The goblin. She is, they're kind of keeping to themselves at the moment, all the different, groups from the council are sort of in lockdown at the moment. What exactly is it that you want to speak to them about?
Well, somebody has to go out and try and figure out who did this.
That is true.
I need to talk to her first to see what leads I can find.
Well, how about this? You wardens, how about you let the professionals handle all this? We have a structure. We have everything taken care of. When we have information as to who is able to go where, we are going to send you guys a message, and you will have your superiors direct you to where you need to go.
Okay, look. I'm trying to be nice about this.
Really? Because
I want to make sure my boss is okay. So either let us through, or I break your knees.
Come now, Aang, there's no need for that. Look, gentlemen, we're sorry, but Margot is a friend, and we would like to make sure she's alright.
Well, I was going to say persuasion with disadvantage, and that is a 19. Fucking bards. I love it.
Boom!
I love it. Okay.
Jurnis can't do shit in a fight, but you give her something to talk about, she'll fucking do it.
No, good. Good. Okay. You see this guy here that Aang was talking to. You get the impression that this guy is just a bit of a contrary asshole, and he's one of those security guards who will take any opportunity to shit on someone else's day. His associate on the other side, though, says, "All right, if you're that serious, all right, you'll be fine. The rest of this lot, what's their business?"
Well, at the moment they're with us, but they will be happy. And Aang looks back at them to wait outside.
Well, I mean, Graz pipes up. I mean, I don't have a badge or anything, but as I say, I'm with them, and I wouldn't actually mind, being around Margaret. I just want to make sure she's all right. It's a goblin solidarity thing. Nicola, could you please give me a persuasion check on behalf of Grass?
Sure.
Guard sort of narrows his eyes and says, I think these two will be fine. Tahu, I would say from your position and everything, you would just be able to look through, and you actually would probably see your boss, Jasper, currently being treated by a woman. And from that angle, I would say, give me a perception check, please. The DC will be high, even though, let's be honest, you can see on the map. But let's see if you actually recognize him. So this is a perception check. Yeah.
I'm just like the opposite of Jurnis. Do me anything in fucking like words, and I can't do shit. Put me in combat, and I'll throw some daggers and hit 19 crits.
Yeah. Well, that's the key of a balanced party. I would say this. I will give you this for free. You did glance around, and I would say you wouldn't notice Jasper does seem to be in the building. You probably wouldn't recognize anyone else through the windows. Did you want to try and head inside with them?
How perspective is most of the crowd out here?
I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit. How is most of the crowd?
How like busy or perceptive is most of this crowd out here? I'm thinking of seeing a good potential chance of me just climbing up here and maybe just being a stealthy little rogue and taking a look around without really being in or going in.
I would say a large amount of the attention is kind of focused on like the line that is being held by the guard and the various acolytes of the temple. They're kind of trying to, keep people back. People are, every now and then someone's sort of like trying to, test them and push the line and everything. Asking, calling for answers into these attacks, what is going on, that kind of thing. So I would say they're fairly distracted. You think with a decent enough chance you could make it past. You would definitely want to avoid the sight of the two guards who are, in all fairness, currently chatting with the tiefling and the tabaxi.
Which exactly would be my perfect chance to, do this.
Yes, it would. 13. Okay, now I've got to look up their stats, you monster. Let's see. Passive perception. I would say... Okay. You don't think anyone can see you. So where is it that you're trying to head to?
I'll start by just getting up here. See what the people's initial reaction is.
Okay, in that case, give me a dexterity check, please.
Dexterity? What kind?
You already did. Oh no, that was a stealth.
That was a stealth.
Yeah, so just a basic dexterity. So you're trying to make your way up the side of the building, yeah? Mm-hmm. A 10?
I did see their boxes there, so maybe that helped, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, you're able to clamber up some of the, the boxes and everything. So I assume you slipped around behind the boxes, sort of in between the building and so on to avoid sight. So I would say a 10 just makes it. It doesn't seem like anyone has noticed you yet.
Perfect. Well, then I'll stealthily make myself up and around, and my
Okay.
goal is to get in a position where I can kind of see what's going in here, over here. Obviously, to the people that is most related to me.
Okay. Bear with me a moment. I just realised there's music playing on Roll20. Sorry, that was the first time in ages. Here we go. This is what the music should be. For that second move, I would like you to... where have you actually gone? I've lost you. Could you ping me from? Yeah, I would say that is definitely
There's a second
going to be...
check I'm going to have to make for dropping.
Yes. Yeah, because your first stealth was to sort of get around there. Your second stealth is going to be to see if people see you.
Check. I'm going to need to get off the roof, but yes.
There is, but first I want you to do a secondary stealth, an 11. I would say as you're making your way, you do notice there's one of the goblins through this window is keeping an eye on the street, and they kind of lock eyes with you. They sort of step back a bit, and they kind of run over and start having a conversation with some of their friends inside. What would you like to do?
With the best deception that I can give, I'm going to look in the opposite direction and just smoke and keep slowly walking, like I'm just kind of just
so for context,
being a bird on a roof.
Okay, so for context, you're crawling across you're basically standing on somebody's rooftop. You've got your back to this area, and you're just chilling. You're just smoking a cigarette. Yeah, give me a deception with disadvantage. Oh, you lucky devil!
All right.
Yeah, the DC was 15.
Oh wow, I am lucky.
Yeah, you lucky bugger. Okay. After, I would say, do you glance over your shoulder at any point to see if you're about to get some drama behind you?
Yes.
Okay. I would say...
Of course, I locked eyes with him, so I'm kind of a little worried.
Yeah. After a moment or two, you don't hear any noise. You hear no alarms being sounded. And as you look around, while that one goblin seemed a little perturbed, the rest of them don't seem to care that much.
Right, then I'll continue along my way.
Okay.
Hop off the roof.
Okay. And yeah, you already did the acrobatics, and 18's fine.
And then, obviously, I just sneak my way over here. So I'm assuming another stealth check.
Yeah, one final stealth, I think.
Damn, with the 11s. Come on.
I would say, just for the sake of it, it's like as you're heading past, again, the rest of them seem to be minding their own business. You notice the temple staff just focusing on, tending to the wounded and everything. But again, that one goblin is just eyeing you, and it's got that expression of, oh, no one's paying attention. Really? Really? Just locks eyes with you, and it's just like, like that thing where in various cartoon shows where you see like two rivals,
right, exactly.
The rival baby. It's that. It is that look. That goblin will remember you.
Oh no.
But you do make it to this window here. What do you do?
I'm going to just sit there stealthily, just listening in and peeking in.
Okay. We will get to you shortly, but we will get to what you hear shortly. In the meantime, Jurnis and Ang, yes, I believe you guys have been allowed inside. Chemise, Icarus. Now that Chemise has a potato to keep her company, what are you, what do you guys wish to do? Do you wish to try and head inside? I would say this, Icarus. This does seem to be a place outside. There are banners for several different faiths.
All wrong ones. All wrong, incorrect.
Okay. Give me a religion check with advantage, since
Chemise,
you like
for her
to keep
part?
up.
Sorry.
No, what was you first, my dear?
Sorry,
Religion. Good thing you gave me advantage.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, we'll get to you in just one moment, Chemise. Yeah, Icarus, you recognize the various symbols for. Let me just show this. You recognize the Church of Calivig, the Agressari, the Order of Modrojon, the Temple of Idaford, and I would say, yeah, though there's also one that you don't quite recognize. It seems a lot more recent. Underneath it's got a sign that says Avantalism. That is one that, actually, yeah, you, given where you're from, you would actually know that. That's more of that's a religion that's practiced in the eastern part of the Union, where Miss Chemise is from. It is basically an orc faith, primarily, although some humans practice it as well. It's very into reincarnation and all that jazz. But the other religions you know are primarily dwarven faiths, a lot of which are regional ones, all about the threefold goddess of the dwarves, Idafod, Modrojon, and Agressari.
Did they take away the tiny banner of a martyr after Sister Dot died?
I would say this, actually. Thank you for the reminder. You look, and there does still seem to be a banner for Ilmater. This is not a religion you are familiar with, Icarus. It is basically, let me just bring that up. It is basically the two white hands bound with red cord. But you, of course, Jurnis, would know this very well. A small but growing cult that is gaining popularity in certain corners of the world.
Interesting. Yeah, Icarus doesn't care.
All these wrong religions. You, of course, don't see a single Asepsis flag anywhere.
I mean, he accepts that other people have other incorrect beliefs. It's not their fault they're wrong.
They took
it
Asepsis
is.
one down. Oh no, there wasn't an Asepsis one, that was upstairs.
I'm sorry, Jurnis?
I was trying to think, did they take the Asepsis one down? But no, that was inside. That was upstairs.
I would say, for the sake of argument, technically speaking, this is a different location. A lot of them have relocated. It's, again, Kakor, it's the same map, Kakor, but it's different part of the city.
Fair.
Yeah. That is fair.
Just assumed we'd gone back to the same place because it was a chapel, but okay.
Yeah. A lot of the same NPCs are there, but they've relocated. Let's just leave it at that.
Like 5,000 religions in this world. You know what that means? Somebody's gonna be wrong.
Yes, and it's everyone else.
We could all be in hell one day. Going,
This is the sun. You see the sun every day. How can you say he's wrong?
You're sitting there tearing up your ticket like you're at the horse track. I had Jesus. Who knew it was gonna be a giant frog from Africa?
But yeah, But yeah, like the Sepsis religion, according to the document you sent me, Dennis, is
Yes.
monotheistic. So basically, they think their god is the only real one. So Icrius has no interest in this temple to gods he does not recognize the authority of. So
Fair
he's
enough.
basically just hanging out outside, arms crossed, looking dour as ever.
Fair enough.
And Chemise is standing. Sorry, go ahead.
That downers only increased when Ang was all like, "Oh yes, everyone will stay outside and play nice." Not because like, oh yeah, they're inferring the Sepsis Paladin is going to stir up shit. No, they're inferring that Icrius gives a shit, and he does not.
Mm-hmm.
He has no interest in this Margot lady, so they're welcome to do what they like. He's just going to wait outside.
Okay,
And
fair
that's
enough.
Icrius right now.
And Chemise is sticking right by him. She looks very nervous in the crowds.
Hmm.
She's almost shaking. She's scared.
Okay. I would say that you have kind of gone past the divide. Now you're kind of waiting on like the other side of the barrier. But in regards to your message, I would say that's a very good question. I would say your friend has been helping you in many ways.
Thank you. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So Chemise is staring up at the signs and looking around and she's avoiding eye contact with most of the crowd, kind of glancing over at Icrius every so often, just being very freaked out, hugging herself.
I would say this, to distract you, your friend would actually be murmuring to yourself as your eyes glance over the different symbols. They would actually be giving you a little bit of, potted information about, each of these different faiths, all of which with a slightly derisive, and of course your friend here thinks his god is the sun.
Chemise can't help a little smirk, and then it goes away.
Well, yeah, basically everything that I popped up, all the the different things that's in the journal, Chemise would now have access to that information pretty much, should she so desire.
Yeah.
But yeah, focusing on Jurnis and Ang. Is Dog going to follow the two people inside, or is Dog going to stay with the people outside?
There's Grass.
Yeah. Graz was denied entry, which she is not happy about.
She was over here before.
Yeah. Graz moved, did she not?
I just made my own entry.
I moved her over to Huff next to Chemise and Dog.
I'm sad I can't even see what you guys are doing now because I'm all over on the other side.
Tell you what, just for the sake of it, I'm gonna copy your token over
Oh
here.
shit, I can see.
As well. Yeah.
Dog is moving. I feel immersed.
Okay. So, is Dog actually joining the? Is Dog staying outside, or is Dog joining the tiefling and the kitty?
I think Dog's gonna stay outside.
Okay, no problem. All right then. So, you two are directed inside, and you are basically shown to the door towards the right. Yeah, this is for Jurnis and Ang.
Okay. Will not be long, Graz. Make sure the murder burb keeps his claws to himself.
Yeah, I'll do my best. It doesn't look like there's any of the spooky lot around here. It's all just normal people.
Fair enough.
Graz is kind of with this Icrius in some regards.
Yes. Okay.
Oh my god, what is up with this person? Their face.
Yeah, I would say actually, I would say that particular token, as you're looking at it, that is Hilda. Most of the people, as you come into this room, there's a couple of the Agressari that you recognise. There's Sister Helga and her two associates, two of the acolytes. One of them is a red-headed gnomish woman who maybe was flirting with Wex a little bit. But they're busy off in the corner, grouped around the very familiar and very badly injured looking Margot are her retinue of employees. Most of them are goblinoid, including these two hobgoblins, one of which is a hobgoblin woman who's by the name of Lynx. She's Margot's main method of communicating with people. Lynx looks up as you guys come in. It's like, oh, I remember you. What exactly can we do for you? The boss is not really in a position to be disturbed right now. And just before I finish setting the scene, this woman here, the one you pointed out, that's actually an elven woman. With fire orange braided hair. That's the secretary that you remember by the name of Hilda. So we've got Lynx, Hilda, Margot, and other unnamed NPCs.
Fair. We heard what happened and came to basically make sure Margot was alright.
Yes,
Lynx.
that's our main concern at the moment.
Lynx looks over her shoulder. Margot looks like she's kind of sleeping. She's kind of propped up on one of the benches. Several pillows around her. You see the other members of the group. You get the impression. Give me a basic perception check. Yeah, there's a bit of a smell in here, Ang, and
You guys hate me.
it's not. Yeah, it is not great. It's there's that medical smell of disinfectant, bit of blood. You do look around, and there do seem to be several, beds around here that were filled until recently. You're not too sure how many people have survived this attack. But it's a bit distracting. For Jurnis, I would say with a 12, you do get the impression that the various goblins in this room have one hand on their hips for a reason, and it's not because they're about to do a dance.
How is she faring?
The boss is tough. She's tough, but she is getting on in years. It was a bit of a bad go. I was off to the side, and I saw it happen. It was the whole floor just went up. We were all knocked flying. She was just a couple of feet from the halfling players. Yeah, she was taken out straight away.
She should get better here. She's been through tougher scrapes than this.
You no disrespect, my friend. You have literally no idea. But yeah, no, we've got her back. We'll keep an eye on her. Was there anything in particular you wanted to know?
Any idea who's behind it? No one taking credit?
Yes, we were looking for any leads that perhaps maybe she would have known about. But
I mean,
what about Grey?
Oh, you mean Mrs. Grey or Mr. Grey? Because Mr. Grey's Mr. Well, I mean, I mean, he's dead. He got taken care of, and Mrs. Gray, she was. I mean, after that whole trial thing, we kind of had to be a bit more public about the fact that we had her. So she's, as far as I am aware, she's still in, like, the prisons somewhere in the Black Keep. Which disappointed Margot because she was having a lot of fun with her new pincushion, but,
Of course. Because those are the only people that we knew had a plot. And as far as we knew, we had thwarted that, but it seems they weren't the only one with that idea.
Yeah, we've been kind of asking ourselves the same question. She lowers her voice. We did have a communication, though, from a family down below, in the Green Scar. Mr. Matthias wanted to come and visit, but obviously he's, technically speaking, he's from a rival cartel, so it would not do for the leader of a rival business to show up when Miss Penrose is in her current position. Between us, though, I do know that he kind of has. He's got a bit of a thing for old Margot. He's always tried to treat her with respect, so I think it is genuine concern. However, he did seem very keen to be told when she woke up. He specifically less that he wanted to check that she was all right, more to have a chat. Give me both of you, persuasion disadvantage. 14 and an 8.
And
She
7.
kind of looks. Oh, and a 7. Yeah, 14 and a 7. She looks around, and you get the impression that she feels like she's saying a bit too much. Look, when she wakes up, I'll be sure to let her know that you're thinking of her, and if there is investigation work, if there's something that you can do, we will. I'll make sure she gets in touch. All right, but until that, I can't really. I don't want to talk out of turn. You know what I mean?
That makes sense. Yes. You need to clear things with the boss.
100%. Yeah, and also, if you could just forget the whole thing with Matthias, that is, again, I really shouldn't have mentioned that. This little goblin right next to her sort of pipes up. They were pretending to be sleeping. Yeah, you probably shouldn't have. And sort of like lazily holds out the hand. Lynx looks a little bit irritated, reaches into a business suit and hands them 2 gold. The small goblin slowly takes the gold, pockets it, and goes back to quote-unquote sleep. See me. But yeah, no, is there anything else I can do for you while you're here?
Well, not much. Just a minute she's coherent and able to send us a message so we can speak with her.
Yeah, we'll do. Don't worry about it. Yeah, thanks for the coming round. We do appreciate our friend. Gives you a nod. Oh, your mouth, you! You hear from the corner.
Can
Wait, is that a fucking
Jurnis...
speech?
Yeah.
It's part of the background ambience.
Can Jurnis do a medicine check to see if she can discern how long Margot's likely to be out?
You would have to get a little bit closer.
Are they going to let me?
You can try. From where you are, if you're just like glancing over, the DC is going to be about 15.
If I like shimmy into this bench.
Still 15.
Yeah, sure. We'll try and have a glance.
Okay.
Come on, Bard.
You can't get nat 20s on everything, my friend. Sorry. It's
Well,
especially.
I've only a +2 on medicine. It's not like my persuasion and performance, which is +8.
But yeah, now when the boss feels better, I'll be sure to let you know. I would say, Jurnis, as well, just for the fun of it, as you are you actually actively trying to lean close to have a look?
Probably not with how antsy a lot of the goblins are.
Mm-hmm. Very wise. And while that's going on,
Well, at least we can
Tahu.
tell Rick she's alright.
Yeah, that's the best thing about this.
Anyway, back to Sneaky Burb.
Yes. Tahu, you are currently over here. So you have just got to the window. What are you doing?
Just listening. Just
Okay.
checking it out. What's going on?
Okay. Give me a perception check. I would say, first of all, I would give me an investigation check to see if you can find an open window. 16? Yeah, okay. I would say you'd be able to do that. Now give me a perception check. Let's see what... Okay. Okay. How long do you stand by the window?
As long as Jurnis and them are inside.
Okay. I would say that over the course of the next 10 minutes or so, listening up against the window, you hear the various acolytes and the priestess of Modrijon. Basically, they're supposed to be all about mourning and death rites and that kind of thing. These dwarven women in black robes with the veils. They have been keeping an eye on Sir Enlich and a few of the other members of the Sanctum. Aside from the member of the Black Hand, who is keeping the door closed and keeping a general eye out, there is also a woman you are not familiar with, a human figure in a green dress, who is currently tending specifically to Jasper. While normally from your position, you probably wouldn't have been able to hear the exact words, you do get the impression that they know each other, and she's kind of fussing over him, not so much in a concerned way, more of a, oh, really, this again, that kind. It's almost like an old married couple or someone who has known another person long enough to be comfortable showing irritation around them. Jasper seems a little bit worn out. His blatantly obvious sword cane is to the side, and he's just, straining himself out as the individual in front of him is currently fussing over him. You do notice a familiar blue tiefling who you were warned about, Kay Tregduran, who you technically Jasper is very suspicious of, but you were warned off by Lady Gosling from last night. He's the newcomer to the school who has been taken under the wing of Sir Enlidge, who is currently being looked after. Sir Enlidge, for clarification, is a purple-skinned tiefling, an elderly gentleman in his late 60s, potentially early 70s, and the head priestess of this particular chapter is currently treating him. You do notice as well one of the other professors from the school is currently keeping a close eye basically on her and everyone in front of them. You all are trained to kind of hang back, stick to the sides, and observe the situation. She is not taking her eyes off anybody who comes near Sir Enlidge. You get the impression that this is one of his bodyguards. Do you try to make yourself known to anyone?
No.
Okay.
I snuck back here. I do not want to be.
Okay then. After a couple of minutes, you get the impression there's, without actually getting inside, you're not going to have much more context as to the situation.
Right. Alright. Well, when I do finally know that they leave, I do go around. I continue around the same side.
Okay.
Like,
I mean,
this
that is a
side
fair
to go
question.
around.
How would you know that Jurnis and Ang have finished with their conversation? At you.
I don't. I guess I just spend the 10 minutes there and just go back anyways.
Okay. One final
guess.
stealth check to see if you are spotted by any of your fellow college members. A stealth? Okay. As you're, I would say, if you don't mind me dragging you, I would say you get to around this point here when you're glancing by the window and you notice Jasper's eyebrows rise as he is looking right at you.
Still smoking.
Say again?
I would still be smoking too.
Mm-hmm. Do you react to him or anything, or do you just
Nope.
keep moving?
Just
Okay.
one of my eyes notice him, but I'll just keep walking like I didn't even know.
Okay. Alright, before we move on to the next moment in this, is there anything going on outside between Icrius, Chemise, and the doggo? I would say Graz is actually petting. I would say that Graz is petting the doggo at this
And
point.
Chemise is just keeping her distance from the doggo, and she's been telling Icarus she's not used to so many people in the big crowd, and it reminds her of being down in the mines.
Memories of home?
Chemise nods and says, "Where I'm from, you work in the mines. It's your only job. Pretty much almost everyone's only job."
And I reckon that disagreed with you.
Chemise nods and says, "And now I'm going back into tombs. Can you believe it?"
Well, you have due course this time around. A greater cause.
Chemise nods and says, "I know, but just the endless throngs of bodies piling on top of each other, all for salt." She says the word almost like a curse.
Well, it's a necessary resource, and I'm sure it brought your people economic comfort. But it evidently wasn't for you. I mean, just
Not
look
really.
at that pretty face of yours.
She kind of like her head away and then looks back and says, and then she kind of darkens again and says, "It's not really a choice. You don't get to choose who you are like that where I'm from. You're told what you're going to be doing."
Believe me, my dear, I think I know all too well. Probably so does Miss Springsinger.
She says, "Thank you for understanding. I'll be glad when we're out of here and back on the road. This is just making me very uncomfortable."
Believe me, I empathize wholeheartedly.
And that's all. Sorry, go ahead.
Nope. That's basically all he's gonna say.
And that's it for Chemise 2, Devillo.
Cool. Apologies, I had copied the wrong token there. So, just before we move on, I almost forgot. Ludo, Corvo, you guys
Oh my god.
were in the middle of this clusterfuck yesterday, and you managed to save quite a few number of people, including a very grateful goblin girl. Arcanus is currently, passed out. It was a rough night. You've been trying to help out where you can, but the whole situation is, for want of a better word, pretty fucked. You've been helping the various acolytes, keep, various compress down. It's like whenever someone needs a hand lifting a patient. It's been difficult work, but you have been helping out here. The recent newcomer to this particular area, Jackson, he's been in charge of keeping an eye on Warden Reap and the Veril Elder. The remaining Veril have all been fairly grateful for the attention, and the few gnomes you have in here as well have also appreciated the help. But for the most part, you've been kind of left to your own devices. Was there anything in particular that you would have been wanting to discuss with each other, considering you were in the thick of this situation?
Well, I mean, whenever they got a free moment, Corvo would turn to Ludo and was gonna say, there had to have been something bigger to all this. If Margot were, awake at least, we could possibly ask her for help from any other watchers, but at the moment, I think we're on our own.
For now, let's just focus on helping the ones who need it. Vengeance can wait for now.
Let's hope so.
I completely forgot the voice Ludo had. Oh well.
I think
It's
it
not
was
that
a very low one like that.
It
So.
was a bit low, yes. Ludo is a very big girl.
So, to clarify, for those of us who have never properly met Ludo and Corvo, would you like to describe who they are?
I mean, unless Jones wants to go first.
No, you go ahead. because I have to very quickly try and find the description of Ludo again.
Orvo is kind of like a Kenku. He's a bird species from the what's the expansion?
It was the actual location. I believe it was the continent of Chakram. You were to the far north, past the Crux continent.
The Humblewood campaign.
Oh, Humblewood. Yeah. You're from the Humblewood.
Expansion.
Book. Yeah.
He is a dusk, which is a more raven-like race of birds. And he's kind of like Tahu. He's a sneaky boy. Okay. And he has been living in the city for the past 10 years. So he's been there for longer than Aang has. And much like Aang and the rest, he too is a watcher.
Warden.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm. A lot of made-up words I throw at you guys. I know.
A lot of made-up jobs. But yeah, that's pretty much him.
So Ludo?
Ludo is a 7'10" Loxodon, which is an anthropomorphic elephant, dressed in heavy armor. She's still relatively young, at a mere 118 years of age. But she got pretty damn bored with the laid-backness of her culture and went out seeking adventures, joined an army or two, got a few ranks, and after that war ended, she wandered the world and ended up in Khazal Grim, and stayed here for a while because the little people are fun. So I actually can't remember how long she's been in the city. I think she's been here a good few years.
Okay. As you guys are looking around, you hear a knock on the door. The Black Hand double checks who it is, recognizes one of the other priests from another section, lets her in. You would recognize this one as Sister Namika. She's a tabaxi, one of the people involved with the Church of Kalavig. Seems to be having a bit of an animated conversation with the dwarven priest in charge of this section. And we will find out what this conversation is, but it won't be this week. Since it is now time for us to depart for now. So not much of a cliffhanger, I know. I can't have an explosion every session. But,
we just had the anticipation of an explosion.
yes. Oh, always. There's always the anticipation of an explosion. So, questions, comments, theories.
I have a feeling that we're gonna have time to handle a side plot before Margot wakes up, or before any information has shown up.
Yeah.
That's possible.
Chemise just wants out of this whole place. She has no theory except, get me out of here!
So I have a question for you, D, following up on that. When you say out of here, do you mean like just the fact that you have to deal with something else before we go below, or just Castle Grim as a whole?
Specifically, it was pretty obvious that she wants away from all these crowds.
Okay.
She is not enjoying the large throngs of people walking around. She wants to get out of there, but there's a bit of wanting to go down into the assignment that she has to do.
Yeah.
Her assignment.
Yeah, the main quest, while everyone else deals with their side quest.
I would say
Different members of the party have different ideas of which is the main quest.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's what I love about this. I will say this as a DM. That is very true. That is very true. I have set this up. So yes, there is shall we say, a plot going on. Mm-hmm. There is a thing that has happened. There are things to investigate. But I have laid before each of you something else. And it is up to you as a group to figure out what is more important to you. What do you think that should be focused on? And that is something that you can debate with each other in character.
Chemise is going to listen to her friend.
But Dennis, that would require that we talk to one another and actually respect how each other feels and our own opinions and all that.
I know, I've made a terrible mistake.
I know, because I'm the big bad paladin and my opinions aren't worth listening to.
Oh, Chemise is listening very carefully. She just wants to understand why, she needs to speak with the manager about all these people over here.
I'm just wondering how Icrius will react when he finds out that Jurnis is getting into a religion that isn't his.
Well, you're poor and misguided just like everyone else in this fucking city.
I will say this, though, as well, in regards to the Church of Almeida. That is the only religion that is not a homebrew unique to Voracel.
Nice.
Almeida is actually something from, I believe, the Forgotten Realms.
Mm-hmm. Forgotten Realms.
I wonder if that's somehow significant in some way.
Who knows?
That's what I thought immediately.
Yeah.
But yeah, believe me, Jurnis the player, Icrius is not going to care what Jurnis the character believes in, even though it is false, wrong, and incorrect. He's more concerned with, the undead blight.
That's under our feet everywhere we go.
Absolutely. Swarming, growing, threatening to overwhelm. No.
And Chemise has the destiny down there, so The dream said so.
I will say
you gotta stop assuming that he's going to automatically smite anything that deviates from the norm. He has a bit more restraint than that.
Does he? Does he really?
Yeah, he's like, I just picture him with his little book and he's checking off each page going, smite, smite, fire, fire, smite, fire, fire, and smite, fire.
Let me put it
like
this
the
way,
Grinch
my dear.
going down the phone book. Hate, loathe entirely.
Oh, my dear, I can pencil you in for a smite next Thursday. But you'll be rather low on the list.
Well, Jurnis is kind of eased up on her hatred of Icrius right now after he says that he believes that the quote-unquote free undead are actually people, so...
Yeah.
She doesn't think he's as much of an asshole.
So, and lastly, Dog had a dream.
Yes, what's that about?
Just a dream.
Ooh.
Everybody except Tahu had a dream.
Look at him, he's chasing gazers.
See, I bet Dog knows that gazers are with the Gats out of our guild.
I'm just gonna share a little video in the player chat if this is how I picture Dog waking up from their dream.
Yes, I know what you're gonna do! Yes, it was!
Aww.
Yes, I love that video!
That is canon.
The ending is amazing.
Also, the downside about being the DM is that I never really get to see all of these different things that are going on Discord and everything, because my focus is on trying to keep these plates spinning, and I'm just catching up on all this shit, and I'm like, I fucking love it. I love it.
Sleepy dog.
Oh, man.
Oh.
So, one final thing. We didn't do it this time around, but would we say there is a play of a game?
Jurnis for sure.
Yeah, that 20 persuasion.
Yes.
Yeah, all that lore. Basically, the gods have no idea, but they definitely want your number.
What can I say? I'm very clever. I'm very charismatic.
Humble
That
again.
goblin wants a piece of me.
Oh, that goblin. Yeah, that goblin is making a freaking note. See, no one believes me. It's that fucking bird again. He's smoking. Look there. He's right there.
Dude, that's a raven. Calm down.
No, you don't understand.
Before we leave the area, I'm gonna get a really good look at him. I want to remember.
Okay.
Just sit on top of the rooftop and do like point at your eyes, then point at him, and then disappear when he tries to point you out to someone else.
I'm gonna be like Batman and just stalk him, but never be there when he looks a second time.
Okay.
Just permanently have freaked out this goblin.
Okay.
Yeah, I was
Side
speaking of
quest
Batman.
right now, officially.
Speaking of Batman, I was gonna say this is like it in Arkham Knight when the main story goes, "Oh yeah, we've got this data to find the guy. Come to this point when you're ready," and then you can go off and do all the side quests that you have intel for.
Mm-hmm.
That's hang right now.
I would say, in terms of quests and everything, a slight bit of meta knowledge for you all. Going underground, that is going to be that might be a while, mainly because of some of the stuff that I got planned in terms of other story progression. But having said that, it all depends on your choices, what you decide as a group, and I'm more than happy to move a couple of things around. However, while you are focusing on one storyline, events will be continuing to evolve in other storylines.
Yeah, and don't just listen to Chemise because she's urgently, I want to make it clear that that's just her character. That's not me as a player in any way. I'm all interested and invested in everything that's going on. So, but Chemise has one goal at this point, anyway.
Yeah, Ditto. It's not the Ditto. It's not the player that's uninvested. It's Icrius. He has no reason to care about these other matters right now.
Exactly.
Now, the moment the Sepsis get involved again, because they were like a part of the shenanigans that just happened. But once that pops up, then yes, he'll be invested. But right now, he does not care. He just wants to...
The priest who you mentioned that you wouldn't mind having a little conversation with.
Yeah.
He moved to a town that's not too far from here.
Indeed. So that can be dealt with at some other time, but there is apparently something rotten in Castle Grim all the same, and it's meddling with people of his faith. Riling them up, pushing them to do things that makes us look very bad. And if we keep torching things, people aren't going to want our help. And we're here to help people.
Yeah, Chemise has thoughts about that, but
True, we mainly help people by burning things, but we shouldn't always leap to that, because some people disagree. Let's ask nicely before burning everything to the ground.
I want that to be a T-shirt, and I want to use the artwork that I did of Icarus. Incidentally, Nicola, if possible, would you please share the Icarus picture with the stream?
Did you share that in the player chat or the Dice&Dolts chat?
I think it was in the Dice. Yeah.
find it.
I can't.
There.
I can't have to say it, Chris. My other D&D character from the other campaign would be disagreeing with you in everything because I use fire to burn everything. As a druid, even as a druid, I burn forests because I have a reason for it. I'm just like, it's for nature.
To control
So fire is
burn.
my answer.
Sounds like Mads and him will get along nicely.
Yeah, Mads already did that in the Waterdeep Dragon heist there, stream.
Believe me, if it weren't for people constantly like bitching and whining about setting things on fire, Icrius would be with you guys.
It's just
And
part of
finally-
nature.
Because it gets the job done, but it tends to get people rather upset, and it makes them look at us like we're the bad guys.
Plasticky bird. You can only do it once.
I'm sorry I burned
And-
down the warehouse. It was my fault. There were cultists inside of it. They needed to be punished.
Oh yeah,
Exactly.
definitely cultists are the problem. Yes, you should burn
We did.
all cultists you find.
We didn't burn down that field because we wanted to. We wanted to smoke the people out.
No.
But anyway,
Mads
the
wanted to
final
burn
thing.
Yeah.
After you, dear. After you. It's okay.
I was gonna say, no, Mads wanted to burn all of the goblin raiders she was sure were hiding in the grass. She was sure there were some scouts in there and they were going down.
Oh, if we hadn't, Hunter wouldn't have gotten her new kitty bay.
Mm. The future Lady Fairwind. But yeah, the final thing I will say is a reminder to everyone at the very start of this session, of all people in the multiverse, Ashwood Grumbletoes asked the most important question of all. What is a Voracel? So, catch us all. Next game is going to be, I believe, Saturday. Is that not correct, Miss Jurnis?
Yes, the main game is now going to be on a Saturday for ease of access for certain players.
Hang on.
Yes?
This Saturday or next
Yeah.
Saturday?
I did say the first week of November.
Yeah.
Were you not able to make that?
Yeah.
You said the 7th.
Oh, the
before.
7th? Then it is
Yeah.
next Saturday then. I apologize.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I.
Because I don't have this Saturday off. I have next Saturday off. As far as I know.
Then, yeah, it's the first Saturday of November, which is the 7th. Sorry, I just calendar no. I can't do
Okay,
date math.
well, here's the thing. I, the player, will be able to join next Saturday then. I was actually able to join this Saturday as well because of the daylight savings time, giving me enough time after work. Because normally, with Saturdays, I would be finished round about... I would basically get home about half an hour or so after you guys start when you do Saturdays. However, next week I'm off all Saturday, so I will have a one-off character. I did think I was going to have 2 weeks, but as we've discovered, it's actually just 1 week. But, you know, I will be joining you next week. You take care of yourself. And yes, we will actually go down the list as a good night from Crane. A good night from Dog. One more time. There we go. A good night from the problematic Paladin, Phoenix Boy himself.
Really, at this point, it seems like the only reason I'm problematic is because everyone insists I am. Good night, everybody.
Not wrong. A good night from Lady Chemise.
Good night, everyone, and remember, wear your masks.
A good night from Ang, the killie who actually had a really bad night and was the only one who took damage.
Find out about that soon. Good night, everybody.
And a good night from the lucky silver-tongued bard herself, Jurnis.
What can I say? Jurnis is just a bundle of neurotic mess in a very gorgeous body.
She ain't wrong. Good night, everybody.
Good night.